What's going on? I'm down here in the basement. I know the lighting is horrible, but I just got through training overhead presses and some bent over rows. But I want to talk to you guys. I got something on my mind I want to talk about. And it's why I changed my mind on my training philosophy. I used to think you got to always just kill yourself, push yourself to the limit, that there was absolutely nothing wrong with that, that was beneficial for your training. To be really working, you needed to be really working. Okay? And what got me thinking about this more is I just saw a meme on Instagram earlier today where it showed some dude getting punched in the face, and the dude doing the punching, it said my training, and the dude getting punched in the face, it said my gym buddy, and then it showed a guy on the side laughing. So basically saying you're so hardcore that when you bring someone in, they just get annihilated and you're just laughing like, yeah, you can't keep up. And that's completely how I used to think, but maybe that style of training has some benefit for bodybuilding purposes. If you're only concerned with building muscle, it could be good to completely fatigue your muscles, push them to that point. But, that's going to have its place. It's not going to be for every set because you're going to fatigue it. You have nothing left for the next set. But that's not what we're talking about here today. I'm talking about for powerlifting purposes. And now see, the difference is with powerlifting is a sport. So it's not just training to grow our muscles and get stronger. We're practicing. The same thing you do in any sport. So it's like basketball. They practice basketball. They're not just going in there trying to make their muscles bigger. They're trying to get better on the technique for their sport. Now just think about this. If you were a basketball player and you want to get better at shooting free throws, you're not going to shoot free throws to the point where you completely fatigue your shoulders and now your form is just completely wrong and you got to use extra muscle and push harder and do something that you won't normally do when you're shooting a free throw. That won't have carryover. That won't help you. You want to train the movement pattern exactly the way you're going to be doing it. You want to train that technique. It's the same thing in powerlifting. If you're pushing yourself to where you're hitting grinders, you're training bad form. And you're getting yourself in a situation where you could hurt yourself. So if you even think you're pushing yourself and this has benefits for you getting stronger, what can end up happening is you're way more susceptible to injury. And when you injure yourself, just like me just recently, I was pushing myself too hard and now I was hard-headed and I kept pushing and I hurt myself. I had to take 3 months off. Now just think, if you're going RPE 8, if you're leaving reps in the tank and you don't injure yourself, those are 3 whole months of doing RPE 8 instead of RPE 10 and a half. Okay, so you're building up strength. Those months you had to take off, instead now you're training. And you're not just training and getting stronger, but you're training perfect form. It's perfect practice. And don't just take it from me. Who am I, right? But listen to the greats. Max Aita has a YouTube video where he talks about how he trained under Boris Sheiko. He's working with Boris Sheiko, who's considered probably the greatest powerlifting trainer of all time. He said the key takeaway for the whole style, the whole philosophy of Sheiko's training was very high volume, never miss a rep. It's perfect practice. You never miss a rep. He said he would do, I believe, 2,400 reps a month. Think about that. And he said for his whole training cycle, he never missed one single rep. Now, I saw an interview where, it wasn't really an interview, but it was a video where Ed Coan was teaching, I think, the deadlift and super training to Mark Bell and Silent Mike. And Mark Bell asked Ed Coan, greatest powerlifter of all time. So we go from the greatest powerlifting coach of all time to the greatest powerlifter of all time. Mark Bell said to him something like, when you were training on your way to breaking the world record total, how many reps did you miss? Ed Coan says 0. No reps missed. Does this just mean he was incredibly strong and he can muscle through any weight? No, it's the point that when you're figuring and programming your training, you know ahead of time to make it in a way so that you're not going to miss reps. It's perfect practice. And that's a term that I got from Jeremy Hamilton, another world record holder, another one of the current greatest powerlifters on the planet. Jeremy Hamilton, you can see him. He has a bunch of videos he did on Omar Isuf's channel, and he always talks about perfect practice. So what I'm trying to drive home here is this is a sport. It's not just about getting stronger. It's not just about building muscle. It's about practicing the lifts for the sport, practicing technique. We want perfect practice. We don't want to be doing grinders where the form's breaking down and then we're practicing bad form. It's perfect practice. All right. I hope that makes sense. I had a buddy in here the other day and I was explaining this to him just like I'm explaining it to you guys. And he sat there and he was thinking, he got quiet. He was nodding his head. He thought for a little while. And they said, he had just went for a max the week before. And the week before that, he went for a max too. And I was trying to explain this to him. And he sat there and thought, he said, I know what I'm going to do. On Friday, I'm going to go for another max. Literally, this is what he said. But If you're watching, come on, bro. But anyways, I hope you guys are going to scratch your heads and figure this one out a little better than my buddy did. But anyways, this is why I train my philosophy. I'm trying to push myself to the limit every time. I always believe if you weren't just feeling like you were dying, you weren't really training. And like I said, for the accessory lifts where we're trying to build muscle, that might still have some benefit, especially on the last set of the day where the purpose is building up muscle to help us on the main lifts. But when it comes to the main lifts, it's about perfect practice. All right, guys, if you haven't already, make sure you like this video. If you're still watching, you watched it, you made it this far to the end of the video, come on and like the video.